I would learn at an early age, you control the football game by controlling off tackle. Again, I go back to that's the Bob Stewart. They used to call it the Dave play, and then it became Power O with Coach Tressel. But it's the same thing. You control the football game by controlling that area of the field.
614 Headsets is proud to be sponsored by Fundraising University Ohio. Fundraising University Ohio offers a variety of fundraising efforts that helps football teams run profitable, effective, and fast-paced fundraisers designed to raise the most money in the shortest amount of time to reach their fundraising goals. Fundraising University Ohio is locally owned, operated, and with their 6-step blitz system will help your team maximize profits. Brent Maxwell with Fundraising University will sit down and help you strategize and execute your fundraiser. If you're interested in us running a fundraiser for you, please contact Brent at the letter B Maxwell at fundraising.net or 740-501-8946 to learn how you can get started with fundraising.
It's a good win. There's a lot of people. It's like Woodstock, except everybody's got their clothes on.
But eat a damn snack.
You're like my wife when you get in space. You just get lost.
Short steps are better than long steps. That's the only time in your life you're going to hear short is better than long.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to 614 Headsets. We're your weekly podcast where we say strategy meets story. We're 3 high school coaches from Columbus, Ohio. Football is back, baby. Some of us have gotten back doing some spring 7-on-7s, and that's been exciting. We got college showcases coming up right now, and I know we're all getting ready for, so it's an exciting time in football. If you're just now finding the show, make sure you give us a subscribe. Make sure you download, leave us a review, right? I said at the end of the show, that really helps let others see everything we've been doing and conversations we had to grow what we're doing. And we would really appreciate that. But boys, how we doing this evening? How's everything going?
I told you, tough night, right? We lost in the city championship in our singles match, so a tough night for your boy over here. But either way, we're rolling, getting close to football season. Kyle got me together with the little Bussin' with the Boys Fire podcast. I've gotten 3 good episodes in the past 2 days. They've been great.
The Dan Lanning stuff was fantastic.
Dan Lanning stuff was really awesome. I don't know if Donnie's ready for that, though.
No.
I saw a clip from it today on Twitter, like a 5-minute clip. He was talking about the Rose Bowl game, but I haven't seen the whole episode.
He's good, man. I would love to play for him as a player, right? Just listening to what he does. And I'm telling you, he's got that craziness in his eyes a little bit. He reminds me of a little bit of like a John Gruden, how there's just that crazy behind the eyes as they're talking. But I loved it, man. I went and did the Under the Hood episode where they were with him working out and showed his house, and then actually listened to the actual episode. And there was a lot of good stuff, and I liked it.
I love it. I finally got to watching the first Gruden quarterback camp that was back with Will Howard. I'm with you from last week. I don't know how I'd deal with being John Gruden as a coach, man. I mean, he's funny as hell, but I watched that over a couple of days, and wildly entertaining, but he's quite the character.
They just had the Kyle McCord one tonight. I was watching before we got on here. I was watching it. It was pretty good.
I gotta watch that one.
The Riley Leonard one, it's on Barstool Sports is what they put it on. The Riley Leonard one was tough. Riley Leonard, to me, watch it. It was just awkward. I don't know if I don't know if Riley Leonard could be my quarterback. I'm sure he's a great kid. I'm sure he's a great guy, but I couldn't even finish the episode. And then that's what in our group chat, some other people are saying some stuff too. That's not why we're here. Why are we here, Donovan? What are we getting into today?
We're here for episode 77 with Coach Brad Burchfield, the new head coach at Hilliard Darby.
Big
really just
bad
talking,
Brad.
Yeah, big bad Brad. Money in the bank.
Talking everything from what the first 100 days looks like to building a vision, community support, getting player buy-in, you name it. Coaching strategies, competition strategies. For any coach that's in that position or has been in that position, this is a great episode to learn from, key in, or even if you haven't been in it, it's still a great episode to find new strategies for yourself and for your program.
Listen, Brad's phenomenal, man. Every time he's been on this show a couple times, and every single time we talk to him, I feel like I leave with something great, right? Something that sticks with me, something that I really learn. I wish we could have him on here all the time more, because I really think there's value in talking to him. I think he's a great guy for high school football. and we appreciate him coming on. There's a lot of good stuff in tonight's things. No matter what stage.
Brad.
Where the dogs eat. All right, let's get into this, though. You know what time it is. It's time for that Max Effort Locker Rocker, where we're here to juice you up, just like Max Effort Muscle. Football coaches, listen up. You spend hours in the weight room and on the field pushing your athletes to be their absolute best. But are they fueling their bodies with the right supplements to maximize performance and recovery? Max Effort Muscle provides safe, trusted, and effective supplements designed specifically for athletes, trusted by Division I strength coaches and top college programs across the country. Their lineup includes everything your team needs to train harder, recover faster, and perform at their peak, from whey protein, amino recovery, creatine monohydrate, and NDR hydrate.
Listen, everybody knows football is won in the trenches. Don't let poor nutrition be the weak link in your program. Reach out to them today and get your team on Max Effort Muscle. They work with any team, any size, any budget. Visit maxeffortmuscle.com and email Tyler Treadway. His email is treadway@maxeffortmuscle.com to learn more about team pricing, partnerships, and get a custom package made for your team for as low as $250.
What do you got, Ryan?
No. So I think this week, like talking with my kids and just talking to them, we're in that time frame of, I got work. I'm doing this. I have this classwork. I have school. I have track. I got baseball. I have just everything in the book is coming up, right? All the things are coming up. And so I really was leaning into our kids, like, he who would accomplish little must sacrifice little, but he who would achieve much must sacrifice much. Right. So for me, I would say our kids have to sacrifice a ton to be able to be successful in this game, just like us coaches, right? Like, I was thinking about that today, driving home, right? You sacrifice so much time at the end of the nights or so much time after school with your family to be able to be great, but you have to be able to sacrifice that stuff and understand it's for the greater good. And later on, you're going to be more successful with that sacrifice. And I told our kids that, and I think walking through the halls and walking through practice, and I've been in the weight room 2 days this week. We work out 4, but our strength coach does an amazing job with me at tennis and our other coaches being filled out throughout there. But it's just like walking around and asking them, just, what are you willing to sacrifice? That's just been my base answer for anything too. It's different how we've tried to transition as a coaching staff this year, right? Like, we're just saying the things that we really believe in this year. We're not even trying to have conversations with our kids about anything besides, oh, that was an excuse. Okay, who cares? Oh, that was hard. Okay, who cares? And then if a kid comes to you with something like, Coach, I don't think that I can make it. I have work on this day for, maybe we're doing a combine training, right? Like next week we're going to be, and they're like, oh, I got work. I can't do it. What are you willing to sacrifice for that college football offer? What are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to tell? You can't tell why our kids love working out freaking Canes right there by the school, right? You can't tell Canes, hey, I'm going to be an hour late to my shift as a high school kid because I'm trying to work my butt off and earn a college offer so that I'm not working at Canes the rest of my life. And those are the conversations we're having. Are you willing to sacrifice that and tell that job that? And I tell the kids that all the time.
Yeah, man, 2 things made me think. We just talked about the Dan Lanning thing, right? Now, he talked about, I don't know if you had gotten to that point where he talked about he made the decision. He's already making a little bit of money to go GA, and his family's living on food stamps. He's living on food stamps. And he said something, and I've said this for years, and I've said the same thing. I talked to him about my family. I tell our players. I tell everybody else. It takes what it takes. Right. Sometimes my wife will be like, why are you going on this day? Or why do you go so much? And I'm like, it takes what it takes. If we want to win, if we're going to develop, I can't just show up once every couple of weeks. I got to pour in a couple of days a week, even in the off season, because I know it takes what it takes. You got to do that. And then the second thing is sometimes you got to reframe your mind about, do I have to, or do I get to?
Yes. Yeah.
When you think about it, oh, I have to go to workouts. Oh, I have to do this. Oh, I have to go to a 7-on-7 on Sunday. No, you get to. Right. Yeah. You're in a unique opportunity. You chose this, something that you wanted to do. You get to do it. And I think that's the biggest thing is sometimes you got to talk your mind and your attitude where it needs to be.
I think like also refreshing that to the kids too. What you're saying is even coaches get to that point, right? We get to go to practice. We get to go develop young men. We have the best jobs in the world, to be honest. You get to go develop young men every day into being leaders and stuff. And like I tell our kids the same thing you're saying, Kyle, is you get to go play football. And I love when there's experience of we might have a disabled kid or somebody that does not have those opportunities that are around our program, and we have a bad practice. And there's times that I'll just go absolutely ballistic and just be like, don't you think he wants to play football? Like, and y'all are giving us this terrible effort, but we got such and such in the school that's in a wheelchair that just comes and supports us at the games. Don't you think they would come out and give great effort?
Yeah. Well, the more us as coaches show that attitude, it just leaks into your players, right? Like it just slowly builds up in your program from top to bottom with the players specifically.
Man, it's a great locker rocker, man. We tied it into some stuff. Look, it's almost like we're a professional show, but great job. Ryan, thank you, man. I guess I'm up next week. I hope everybody enjoys episode 77 from Vision to Victory.
Big episode tonight. A legend around these parts, I would say, right? People say Burchfield's like the godfather of high school football in Central Ohio, right? But here now it's to Darby ball. Right. It's a new era for Coach Burchfield. We're excited to talk about that with him and get him on this show. Coach Burchfield, talk about your journey and what's got you here.
I appreciate you guys having me. You guys do a great job and excited to be here. Yeah, I've been graduated in 1993 from Reynoldsburg High School.
I was born in 95, baby.
Played for an absolute legend in Bob Stewart. If you were going to do the Mount Rushmore of Columbus high school football coaches, Bob Stewart would be slam dunk to be one of the four. Was a legendary coach who built Eastmore, retired in the mid 80s, coached with Earl Bruce on the Ohio State staff. And then when they all left, he came over to Reynoldsburg, and it was just like, my gosh, like a legend. Like John Wayne was coaching your team because he was so well known. Very difficult to put into words now what it was like, but he brought so much credibility to the program. I saw what it was like for him to take the program from not being very well respected to the minute he walked in the door, everybody stood up straight and respected the Raiders because of Coach Stewart. So I was very fortunate to play for somebody like him. Played at Marietta College and had a great experience. Again, learned a ton. My head coach, Gene Epley, was a great coach, coached many different colleges. And again, I saw him take a program that wasn't very good. In the early 90s, they were the worst program in the country. And then my junior year, we were 8-1 with a tight loss to the national champion. So it was a complete turnaround. And I saw how he did it with such great toughness. He was a really intense dude, and I learned a lot about what it took to build a program from him. A student taught at Marietta High School, and then the lady retired, and I got her job in April. And and they had a new head football coach, a guy by the name of Tim Hale, who'd been a lot of places, was an outstanding coach, and he didn't have really anybody on staff. So I became his right-hand man, learned a ton of football at a real young age. I could remember my offense coordinator in college when we started talking about post-graduation plans and what I wanted to do. He said, if you want to be a head football coach, you should be an assistant for 5 years, and then you should have your own program. So somewhere that became my goal to do. I went from Marietta High School to Canal Winchester High School. And then after 5 years, started to apply for jobs and got the job at Centerburg High School and didn't know much about it. My wife put a circle around where we live, and she said you could go anywhere within 45-minute radius. And so I applied and ended up getting the job at Centerburg. I was the fourth coach in 1 year, believe it or not. The coach retired, Bruce Hodgkinson, who was a great coach, hired a guy who got in trouble and then got fired in the summer, hired the guy who took his place. He left after a year. So I was the fourth coach in a year. And a lot of good stories there. I could remember sitting in the superintendent's office when I got hired. I'm 26 years old. I'm just happy to have my own program. But of course, you feel like you have all the answers and you know everything, and you're asking questions that you would ask like on a college interview or something, like you were Nick Saban. And I said, what's the talent pool like? And she looked over, and she's a 75-year-old woman, superintendent, big old Coke bottle glasses, great lady, but really old, small school administrator. And she said, very shallow. The talent pool is very shallow. But we didn't know the difference, and we did well, and we won and took the school the first playoff appearance in school history. And I had never been in the playoffs as a student or as an assistant coach, so I didn't have any idea what it was like. It was a tremendous experience, and I was there for 5 years. We made it to state semifinals, so won the region in the third year, had really good teams, played really good schedules, so it was good. Then from there, I had babies at the time. They're all grown now, but we lived on the east side, lived in Canal still, and so we were obviously wanting to have to figure out what we wanted to do for our children's schooling. And Coach Geyer had retired, and I'm a pretty devout Catholic, so it was a pretty good fit. They were looking for a younger coach at the time who the school had so much stability, only had 2 coaches in the previous 50 years. They wanted somebody who would stick around. And so that's what we did, and was fortunate to had one of Ohio's best programs, played a lot of really good teams and a lot of great players and great families. And after 17 years, it was time for the next mountain, so to speak, the next exciting challenge, and took the job at Darby over Christmas this year.
I love it. That's a long journey. We usually mess with Kyle about being the old guy on the show. Now I think Coach Burchfield might have him beat tonight.
Jeez.
He's got me. I'm going to take us down memory lane here in a second, and I can't wait. I'm just sitting on I can't wait. But, hey, Coach, we're excited for you. We've been sitting on this idea for today's episode, and we talked to you about it earlier in the year, and we're excited. I think it fits perfectly with where you're at right now, and it's going to solve kind of 2 things we've been wanting to talk on here, and there's probably no better person. But let's get into finding out a little bit more. This is round 2 of the Pick 6 segment with Coach Burchfield. Ryan, let's go.
The best segment of them all. The Pick 6 segment is powered by Storied Rivals. Sports, media, championships, friendships, and life lessons are among the most meaningful parts of athletic competition. They are passionate about preserving them by offering the most unique highlight experience available.
That's right. Storied Rivals delivers your team's content with services designed to change the way you experience these unforgettable moments now and for a lifetime. Storied Rivals now offers a complete team apparel and player shop customizable to your program. Contact them by email at info@storyofrivals.com to schedule an appointment with a member of their team. Go, Ryan.
Hey, the crazy thing is today in my class, I was able to say that without reading it. I know it now. It was money.
That was good. You're back on a roll.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're back on. Coach Burchfield, for you, if you had to watch one football play for the rest of your life, and that's all you could watch on TV, what play is it going to be? Like, what play type?
Yeah, power. Like
what personnel too? Give me the personnel.
Like tight end, a fullback, a tailback, real deep, quarterback under personnel. Oh heavy. My gosh! Yeah, but maybe as many tight ends and tackles as we can get on the field.
Yeah. The Wisconsin Hippo package.
As many different ways we could get all of our good, big, strong people on guys not quite as big and strong.
In slow-mo, though. It has to be it has to be the sky cam slow-mo Hippo, Wisconsin, or North Dakota State, where the sea just opens up. I'm with you, Coach.
Listen, I would learn at an early age, you control the football game by controlling off tackle. Again, I go back to that's the Bob Stewart. They used to call it the Dave play, and then it became Power O with Coach Tressel. But it's the same thing. You control the football game by controlling that area of the field.
I love it. Coach, my first question for you, we'll stick with the football side of things. Mentioned pre-show, you're a huge Cincinnati Bengals fan. We got the NFL draft 1 week from tomorrow, 1 week from today when this releases. Who's your dream pick in the first round for the Cincinnati Bengals?
I mean, the dream pick would be somebody like Abdul Carter, pass rusher. The Bengals' philosophy has been to spend all their money on offense and draft defense to alleviate the cost and balance out the cost. So we need help all over on defense. Travis Hunter, although I guess he's not a corner as much as he was last week, but somebody on the defensive side that can either cover somebody or get a pass rush.
I love it.
Carter would be nice. Carter would help you, that's for sure. Coach, you took us down memory lane a little bit with your conversation about where you've been and taking us back to the old Raider days. And I went down memory lane a little bit myself, and I found a little gem here. And I just wanted to bring this guy up, see if you remember this guy at all here.
That was during COVID. We weren't getting a haircut there.
And I was going to ask you, like, I didn't know you had flow like that, man.
I think that I've gone through a couple phases where I got tired of getting my hair cut every 2 weeks, and one was in 17, and then that was in 2020. And then every time we played, and then we kept it until the score didn't go our way, and then we cut it all off. We played Moeller the first game of the year. That year, the barber was ready on Monday after playing Moeller.
That haircut inspired my question, right? It's the only one you can find of that. The rest is clean cut, Brad. So I wanted to know
There's
the story
a couple
behind it.
Sure.
And I said that you got him hidden somewhere. I was looking. All right. It got me thinking, what's the golden age of music for you? Or what's one of your favorite bands?
The kids in the weight room, I think we've gotten some cred with the Panthers because when I hook it up, we have everything. We could have the kid. I was disappointed that when we put on Fat Joe Lean Back, the kids didn't know what it was. So it could be anywhere from that to Bob Seger at any time. So I'm probably a little bit more classic rock. I really like Seeger, really like the Stones, but I could do anything.
I knew it.
Wait, do you listen to music like on the bus on the way to the game or anything? Do you put AirPods in or anything?
I do have AirPods in, but I'm a little bit more probably a podcaster going into the game. It's funny because when you go talking about memory lane, it used to be you couldn't listen to any music. Your team was undisciplined if they had headphones in the locker room. Their feet better be flat. I'm sure that was Grandpa Anarella, right?
That was 100%. There was no headphones, none of that.
And it's funny, when I was at Centerburg, our team doctor, great guy, and I was asking him a whole bunch of questions. Is there any science to this? Because kids would sleep before, and like at the 4 o'clock time, 4 to 5, we do walk through at 5, and what are you sleeping for? You don't want to beat Danville tonight, do you? I knew it. And he's like, dude, that's stupid. Some of them need sleep and they want to sleep, and it's all fine. And however they get ready is going to be their thing, as long as it doesn't disrupt other people. So we've done a 180 on that. Music isn't my thing, but I'm good that it is.
That's how Parental was, man. I got to college. There was no earrings in. Your shirt was tucked in. There was no earbuds. And even on game day, when we got off the bus, you had to have the earbuds, your phones, or whatever. It had to be tucked into your helmet. You stepped off that blue bus to go in the stadium, it was nothing. And same thing with your hair. Your hair wasn't allowed to come out the back of the helmet, or you might not even like the way your hair looked. So Brad's flow there, Joe Pollard looked at him and said, get it cut, man. I'm with you. I've been there.
There's something to whatever the standards is that you establish that everybody understands, it's all good. If everybody's wearing black socks and they're pulled up, then everybody's wearing black socks and they're pulled up. If it doesn't matter what socks somebody wears, then it doesn't matter. But as long as whatever the standard is that everybody agrees to, it's all good. But I don't think you're winning or losing any more or less games if you listen to music or if you don't.
I agree with that. All right, Coach Burchfield, here's a one that's not really related to anything. I ask my class a question every single day. So to start the class, and I always pick one out for the pick six. So this week we asked them, if you can't drive or you couldn't get anywhere and you only had these 3 options to get somewhere, which one are you choosing? Would you roller skate, skateboard, or use a scooter that you push your leg with?
I think scooter. You get to a certain age, you worry about the roller skates and the
little rocks.
Yeah. You worry about some of that kind of stuff. So I think you'd like to have some control over things. So I'd do the scooter, the one-legged scooter.
You like the handle. You don't. You like being able to hold on to something.
Yeah, you want to have some control. I think sometimes those skates, you lose control.
That's how I evaluated it. You looked at it, right? We all remember as a kid hitting a ledge and going this way on the skates. I like it. The scooter, you can go fast. You can control it. You can hop off and abort if you need to. You can carry it if you want a little break.
That mug hits you in the ankle. Yeah. Let him hit you in the ankle. And then what? Hey, people don't know this, but Bradley, we both live in Canal. Brad runs by my house every, Sunday mornings?
I don't know if we call it run. I still run every morning before school, and Sundays I go through town.
You ain't running up here before school.
I don't even know if we call it running anymore. It may be a trotting.
When do you run by my house? What time?
Like I'm 4 o'clock. I'm 4 o'clock, 4:30. I'm in my house by 5:15. So I'm in my house drinking coffee by 5:15. So I'm 4:15 out running.
All right, I'll give that to you. I'm gonna come find you around the neighborhood because I'm leaving the house at 5:15 to get to the gym.
Hey, I'm back in by then.
Jeez, Coach, my second question for you. So I like to ask this for people that are specific to Columbus and have been here for a little while. What's the best pizza place in the 614?
So growing up, I was a Massey's guy, and I still am. It's still what I do on my birthday is I have Massey's. I had the one in Reynoldsburg that was on Main. That's where I did my work and my business. Yes, listen, I've loved TAT pizza though too, right? That I've had for many years here, right next door. It's certainly it's an Italian style, and Massey's is probably a knockoff of TAT. So either of those two is also a great place on the east side, Little Sicily's, that has great pizza. So those three are my go-to if I'm gonna get pizza.
Okay.
If I'm choosing.
Man, I haven't heard of Little Sicily's or the other one.
I feel like those are like more expensive Italian places. Brad has money. He's a big baller over here. Yeah. So he gets the 5-star pizzas.
Yeah, Little Sicily's, Refugee and Bryce, and TAT at the corner of James and Livingston.
Brad got that money in the bank money. You know what I mean?
You already know.
Yes, sir.
That Darby pay ain't no joke.
That's better than the last answer. Whoever we asked that last time said Jets or Papa John's was their favorite pizza. I don't remember who it was.
Very respectable answer by a respectable man.
Yeah, exactly. That's
for sure.
Exactly. I like that.
Some class to it. I appreciate it.
Coach, we got a jam-packed main segment today, so I thought this would be a great lead. And just tell us, what's been the biggest surprise or takeaway so far in the new chapter?
Somebody asked me that the other day. A college coach asked me that. I don't think anything's been surprising. And I think we did our homework and prepared. So I don't think anything has been surprising. There's challenges every day. And that's the great thing about no matter if you've been in a place for 5 minutes, or you've been in a place for many years, challenges pop up. There's no fewer challenges now than I had a year ago or 10 years ago or 15 years ago, but no surprise. We knew what we were getting into. I'll say this, and I know, Kyle, you've coached in the league now for a long time. We have a good team. We have good players. These kids work really hard. But I really don't have any idea how we are compared to the people we play because I don't know anything about them. I haven't played them. I played some of them in the past, but not with the Panthers. So I think all we can do is control us and make sure we can get really good. Obviously, I'm nervous that I want to make sure we're better than the people we play. But I got no idea if that's going to happen or if that's not going to happen. It is interesting. Obviously, you're starting all over. So this is interesting. I'd been at for 17 years and we had done really well and very well renowned. And you had earned a credibility within the school building to do what you thought was best, no questions asked. And sometimes I think if you're responsible, that's a good thing. But I think that now you're starting over and I'm the low man on the totem pole of the coaching staff within the school. So you've got to constantly prove yourself. And I said that to the parents when we first started, that everybody's excited and it's honeymoon period. But I know that the kids have to prove themselves to us every day, and we have to prove ourselves to the kids and to the parents every day. Everything you do, it either working with other coaches on other sports, working with the kids, working with the parents, like you're either providing them with confidence or you're providing them with doubt in every single thing that you do. So those challenges exist, but they're real.
I like it. Coach, let's get into this main topic today for today's show, episode 77. All right, main topic for tonight's show is called From Vision to Victory. Of course, our main topic is sponsored by First Down Playbook. First Down Playbook is the nation's leading playbook and play design software with over 35,000 professionally drawn, editable team plays with notes and full playbooks to start from. You'll be on your way to getting the edge over the competition. First Down Playbook could be your entire team and community management system with practice schedules, scripts, custom quarterback wristbands, and more. If you use the code HEADSETS25, you get 15% off what's already the most affordable option in today's game. It's on our show notes, all of our socials. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Great time before the summer hits, start evaluating your needs before it's too late. Coach, we hinted at it a little bit, but with the position you're in, with the experience you've had in the past of going into a new program with a fresh start, can you just talk us through and talk to the listeners through what are some of the first things that you do when you walk in this program? What are some of the first things that you do the moment you take this job, the moment you step into this position?
You got to meet as many people as you can, and you got to try to build a depth of relationship with as many people as you can. And no group is even close to as important as the kids. I think that I have a sheet that has our takeover plan, everything that we would do when we take over a program. And obviously, anybody that's interested, just shout me out and I'll make sure they get it. but all of it pales in comparison to working with the kids, the players, helping the players get better, developing relationship with the players, getting the players to work, letting the players feel what it feels like to be coached by us, understanding how the players react to our coaching or our personality or our vision. And that's everything. So I know that I see coaches, and I asked a million people a million questions, even though I haven't done this a while. I still want to do it. And everybody had a list of what they did. One coach I saw, he wanted to make sure he cleaned up his huddle first when he first got the job. Another coach wanted to go through inventory. Another coach wanted to make sure he did all that stuff. Stupid. Invest in the kids as much as it's never going to be enough to be with them all the time. So that's got to be number one. Obviously, you're wanting to know about putting a staff together, and you're wanting to know about schematics, and those things are all critical. Like, you can't win without any of them. But I think that many coaches lose sight of the work they do with the kids. Like, you have to get the kids to show up, not just some of the kids, but all the kids. Like, you have to have a plan to see all the kids every week, to see your entire team. You want to talk about a challenge, Kyle? That's a challenge, because they play lacrosse and baseball and track, but you have to try to build some of that time with them every single week. You got to have as many intentional touches with them as possible. There's nothing that's even comparable to doing the work. They're doing the work with the kids. I mean, that's number 1 through 10.
Coach, this is interesting for me, something I wanted to ask you, because this is now the third time being a head coach and starting this. And just to rewind a sec and give everybody a little bit of background, we did another episode called First 100 Days with Coach Reiser, and then he had a lot of really good information. That's why we were saying this is almost like First 100 Days round 2, or First 100 Days kind of high school edition. I just wanted to ask you, with it being the third time now, is there anything different you're doing this time around as opposed to maybe when you started at Hartley or even Centerburg or any of those times?
That's a good question. I'm sure it's better now because you're older and you've asked more questions. You've seen what works and what doesn't work, or what you feel like meets your personality or doesn't. I know at Centerburg, we just got the kids and we got them in the weight room, and we played a whole bunch of competitions with them. And we just went really hard. We would do workouts like we still do it, death row, where it's all high intensity stuff. And we would do those right from the start. And we took that model again this time. When I took over for Coach Geyer, there were so many things I didn't know. I'd never been in a Catholic school before. So the environment and how I really was trying to figure out what I was figuring out. And then here, like, obviously we know exactly what we want this to look like. But we took the things that were successful before and just went. And we just went with the kids, and they were all in there. Again, I'm going to put it all on our social media. There's a million kids in there the first day. There'll never be another first day, and they're all excited. And then 2 days later, we said, meet us on the field Saturday night at 7:00 under the lights. We did a whole bunch of games and competitions, and those things are awesome. They're incredible. But the whole idea is you're getting to know them, and you're getting to work them. And you missed out on a whole bunch of time of building relationships and building work ethic with them. You got to get it done pretty quick. I don't know if that completely answers your question, but those are things that we knew in talking with people that we had to do. And all 3 environments, I'm at a big suburban school, I was at a parochial school, and then I was at a small country school, a small rural school. So these are very different environments for sure, and very different situations as well.
Coach, hold on, Ryan.
You got it, Kyle.
It's in my mind. I wanted to ask him because I just compare it, right? I guess we're the older guys on the show right now talking, and to me, it made me think, right? And he talked about relationships and pouring all the time into that. But as a young coach, I was so nervous about staffing from the get-go. And we're going to get that in a part 2, but do you feel like being an older coach who has more relationships and a larger network, does that alleviate some of that tension or focus and help free up to focus on the kids? Because that one's not as scary or dangerous. That's going to take care of itself maybe a little easier than it would for a younger guy.
Listen, we have a group committed to the vision that we've had that have been with me since Centerburg. And then we've added some that we're very careful. I've made many mistakes, and we'll talk about when we get into staffing, where I assumed somebody would fit in. It just wasn't a good fit at all, and it ended up hurting everything. And we're bound and determined not to do that now. These guys were aligned with us right from the start. I've probably been over the top We had staff meeting tonight, and over the top with clearly establishing this is what we do and this is how we do it right now, right from the start. And so, yeah, that alleviates everything. I've had my guys with me for a long time, and those that have come on, we've been probably very careful with to make sure we made the right moves. But again, you can't, these guys all feel the same way I do. You got to pour it into the kids. You've got to work the kids. I know we're talking about, we already do some 7-on-7s now. It's critical because you got to watch each other coach. You don't want to, I've been in situations where we got in later in the season and we don't know how to cover something and you can't get out of it because it's freaking October, it's September. Like they don't have the answer and you gave them trust into that and it's going to end up hurting you. And doing these things now, I think if you're good at it, you say, what are we doing here? How are we doing this? What are we doing there? And you're actually doing it. And so those things are critical right now, like practicing those situations so you're not overwhelmed when the bullets fly.
No, absolutely. Coach, for you, obviously, like part of taking over a program and part of being in like the high school realm is like the community aspect, right? As obviously being in a suburban school, right? And being in the OCC now, like you need that community behind you. What are some things that you're doing to get your parents' support, to get the community to support and be about Darby and Big Bad Brad?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And it's funny because I ask some of these questions. Obviously you do all of it. You make it an experience for the kids and the parents. It should be the best thing they have ever done up to this point, right? It should be the most memorable, most exciting thing they've done up to this point. So you want to include as many different opportunities and events like that. You want to make sure you involve community pep rally. That is a crucial part to kick off the season. You want to make sure your youth camp is really on point and exciting for all the young kids. You want to make sure you are seen in the community. And that was what we wanted. Heritage Middle School is on the property as us. The Heritage Panthers feed into the Darby Panthers, right? And I want to walk down to the 7th grade and have all my wristbands and my gear and passing it out and as I'm walking through the lunchroom, and they can't wait till they're ready to be Panthers, right? They can't wait till they're ready to play Darby ball, right? They're already Panthers. And those are the things that kind of create community. I told you I ask a million questions. I saw a little girl we're in our field house. There's a little girl, I think she was either softball cheerleading. I tell a perky little thing and it seemed like she was engaging with other kids. And I went up to her and I said, hey, she said, yeah, you're the new football coach. I said, what do you think about the school spirit? What do we got to do for this? What do we got to do? I want to have great school spirit. What do we got to do? She said, Coach, we got to win, and then we're going to have great school spirit. So I think sometimes that's a simple reminder for me after all my years that yes, that's what it is. You have to be successful. You have to have the hope that you're going to be successful. But listen, it's chicken and the egg. You have to win. You have to have a chance to win. You have to have the exciting games where there's a great opportunity to be successful. And then that creates community. Right. I can have as many hot air balloons, but if we're not very good, it ends real quick.
Coach, when you talk about developing the players specifically, and I think you hinted at this a little bit by making sure they understand your coaching style and getting in with early and having competition, but how critical is the buy-in when you first step into a program to that incoming senior class, or is it just a whole well-rounded approach for you?
And it's interesting because we do not have a big senior class this coming year. I guess I can get inside some of this. We have a really well-renowned junior to B class. They kicked a lot of butt coming all the way up through the ranks, and a lot of them started as sophomores. But everybody, when you had heard about them and when you had asked questions, like before anybody knew that I was going to be there, I would ask as many people that knew about Darby questions. They'd say, wait till you see this junior class. Wow. Wait till you see these kids they got. Holy smokes. This is a great group. They all like each other. They all love Darby High. This group. Wow. And of course that's exciting. You like good kids that love each other and love the school. That's an incredible thing. And you're going to win a lot because of that. But you don't want to lose that senior class. Our senior class only has a few kids. I'm talking like seven-man senior class. And so it is critical. It is still their team. So we do certain things like every Friday, the whole team comes in to work on Friday. Monday and Wednesdays were after school, so obviously we don't have the track and the lacrosse and baseball guys, but they come in all on Friday morning. So one of our guys, we have a really good senior lineman. I think he's going to be a really good player for us. And I said, hey, bud, you lead today. I'm tired. You lead today. All I want is we do 10 burpees and 10 push-ups. That's it. But you just lead them, so I'm out. He leads them. I said, hold on. Everybody's got to be together. Okay, let it going back. Everybody, hold on. Wait, what are we going to do about Billy over here? Is 10th grader, not real good. He's not coming up when you guys are going. Come on, I'm tired. And making him take ownership, making the seniors take ownership. And so we'll do that periodically in a lot of different ways with the seniors, because it's still their team, no matter how few or how many, because these seniors are good football players. And these seniors love Hilliard Darby High School, and they love being Panthers, and they can't wait to see it be really good the way they remember it when they were growing up. So you've got to embrace them. And I think that's a faulty, I see a lot of coaches, they are a year away from being a year away. Just wait till these 8th graders get up there. And I know why they do it, because they want to try to convince parents who aren't as smart as what they should be to say, hey, when my son gets up, we're going to be good again. We're going to be a lot better. And they feel like they get some cred. It's an old game, but it's a stupid game, and it really puts your current team, does a disservice to them, because those seniors deserve to have an incredible year. So you've got to make it their team. Obviously, we've got 30 juniors and 7 seniors. You can't do seniors versus juniors, right? That ain't gonna work for you. But you've got to give those kids ownership, responsibilities, and understand that it's their team. The worst thing that could ever happen would be seniors to come off and say, oh yeah, they're going to be better next year. That's terrible. That's terrible. This is your one shot to have this one great team of 2025 Panthers.
Coach, I got a question. Hit on some of the things about selling the vision and things, but talk to us about actual player development. What do you do in this winter, spring, or as you're getting started, or you might even feel like, hey, we're a little behind other people because we got in here a little bit later than some, but how do you increase football IQ or get your system installed? What do you do for that?
Yeah, weight room obviously is critical. And what you do in the weight room, it's not just benching anymore, right? It's got to be a holistic approach. And the kids have to be there. Here's what would get me, and I'm amazed when this happens. They all need to be there. If you're not playing a spring sport, you have to be there. I can't even imagine a teammate who has another teammate on the field who's not in the weight room with the kids. That blows my mind. And I can't imagine a coach like, it's just the way it is. It ain't gonna last very long. There's no question of that. And not because it's hard, but because he's not going to look to him when he hasn't been around the whole time. So weight room, being there, developing habits, I think that's number one. Obviously, you guys touched on Money in the Bank thing that we do. It's some kind of competition every Friday. We love the wrestling mats. We have an incredible wrestling room, and we use that, obviously. We bring them in every other Sunday for what we call open field, where we keep them in skill development in groups of 7, as is.
What's your favorite drill you do on the mats, Coach? I had to cut you off before you moved too fast.
I like them all. We do a different one every week. The one we did last week, and I put them all on our Instagram. So you go to Darby Football Instagram, put them all, we video them and make a little highlight film and all that kind of stuff every week. We're always doing new stuff too. Always doing anything I can find. And we scour the internet and YouTube. We're going to at least try to figure it out. Last week's is a good one. We put a sock inside their shoe on their knee. So mine's in my right shoe, yours is in your right shoe, Ryan. And we've got to wrestle, and I've got to take your sock out. You got to take mine out at the same time. So that's a good one. We do the old American Gladiator. We haven't done it yet, but it's coming, where you hold a shield, I have a ball, and I got to dunk it in the trash can.
Powerball, baby. I love it.
So we call it American Gladiator. We do.
Do you think you could beat Kyle in that game?
Why?
I'm just curious.
But I don't even know why we would play.
Just to see.
I mean, I don't know. He's got length on me.
All right. I agree. I think if you got the pad, Brad, you're big pad, Brad.
You do another one where you put the medicine ball in the middle. It's me versus you, and I got to get the medicine ball to touch the wall on the other side. You got to do the same. So we do all kind of stuff like that. So anyway, those are Fridays. Sundays we do open field, and we stagger their time so that we can keep them in smaller groups. And then obviously we start some 7-on-7 in the spring. So we're developing the players as many ways we can. Have leadership meetings every other Thursday morning. And it's interesting, when I first took the job, met with the kids, and you got to fill out the sheet that says your name and your email and your number and all that kind of stuff. And I made them put down who's their most trusted teammate. Because again, I didn't know any of the kids at all. I had no idea. So I made up a list of all the kids that were nominated as a trusting teammate. Anybody that got at least 2 votes, we put them in a group. Listen, I've done this for many years. I don't know what leadership is. I think that's a vague term we want to use. When we're good, we want to say we have it. When we're not good, we want to say we don't. But the truth is, you're always building it, no matter who you are or what age you're at. So we didn't call it leadership means, we called it influencers, because you obviously influence other people. So that we have meetings every other Thursday, and those are good. And listen, just because you're on the list, anybody can come. Anybody can be there, but they're 6:45 on Thursday mornings. So those are different ways that we touch them, from a mental or spiritual or emotional aspect, a physical aspect, and then a technical aspect.
Being at a new team, it's go ahead, Kyle. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. You say that I like that trusted, who you trust the most. And you said the influencers. Someone at the AFCA was talking about that this past year. I forget who exactly it was. Might have been the guy from Vanderbilt or somebody. He used that same term, influencer versus leadership. How everybody wants to be an influencer now. That leadership word scares a lot of kids.
Listen, I'm not a believer that I don't know that adults are strong leaders sometimes, right? So I don't know. We're just expecting a 16-year-old to be a strong leader, but you're still developing those skills. And I think the most important thing we could do is get our message to the kids so that they can spread the same message, right? The alignment of the vision. And that's what we're trying to do. I'm not interested in an obstacle course today. You know what I mean? I don't know that's going to make us better, but if we can understand what it means to strain, that was last week, right? We can understand what it means to strain, or why people don't strain. That's going to be great. We're constantly doing scenarios. And I do the same thing with parents. Like I said to the parents last week in our Gridiron Club meeting, there's going to come a time, everybody's excited now, but somebody's going to be disgruntled. They're going to say, hey, this really sucks. Hey, isn't that right, Mrs. Jones? This really sucks, doesn't it? And they're going to look to you to say, yeah, you're right, it sucks. Or hang in there, it's going to be okay. What we do between now and then determines what that response is going to be.
Coach, you were talking, that kind of hints on to the question that I want to ask you. Obviously, I feel like in my case, when I took over Northland, right, we were down at that time, I would say, right? And I had to teach those kids how to compete again and be competitive. And for you, I would say that Darby football has been down. And just like you said, that girl said, you guys got to win. How are you teaching those kids to be competitive? How are you teaching them that the effort they were putting in previously is not obviously meeting your standard or what you look at it as? Like, how are you teaching your standard, I guess?
A lot of thoughts on this. Listen, I hear what you're saying, so I'm not being disagreeable. I don't know if being down is the same as not winning or not scoring points. Like, for a long time, Darby was one of the most consistent programs in Central Ohio. 8 games a year, winning every single year. And they were tough, and they were physical, and they were really well coached. There's not an effort problem walking in there. Like, these kids, and when I would ask everybody questions, what's going on over Darby? What do you think over Darby? The answer was always the same. Like, they were really young. They're really young. And you put 15-year-olds on the field with 18-year-olds, you can nitpick all the reasons why things didn't go the way you wish they would. But the bottom line is, you're not as good today as what you're going to be down the road. Like that, there's no more depth to that. I came back, I called the offensive coordinator at Hilliard Davidson, Coach Solis. And we all like Coach Solis, great coach. And he obviously didn't know, or he wouldn't be answering me, that I was going to be the Darby coach. But I said, what do you think? He said, listen, dude, Hilliard kids work. And he said it like that. And I use that all the time. Listen, our kids work, and that's the truth. They work. It's not go and look at even the silly games we're doing on Fridays. These kids compete and they fight and they work. Are we going to win all our games? We're damn sure going to try, I promise you, but I don't know that. But the work ethic is absolutely there. These kids show up every day. They got great attitude. They work. And I think they did that for a long time at Darby. They just might not have scored as many points. Whatever the record was or was not. These games are all close because that's the toughness that they had. You might not just been as good. I don't know. I didn't ask too many questions that way. I know I respected the previous staff very much. These guys are great coaches who believe the same things that we believe, or we believe the same things that they believe in. And I know that when we walked in here, these kids work really hard. And I think they're pretty tough physical kids. Now we're going to find out. Every time a kid tells me, that's my answer all the time. Every time a kid says, Coach, I wasn't at school today because I was sick. And I always say, are we tough? Are Hilliard kids soft? Or are we tough? I'm never questioning if they're sick or not. I'm just asking the questions. And your kids are really tough and work really hard.
Coach, I want to get in this last section, and I think this is great for how much experience you've had probably going through it. And you even mentioned about learning from some mistakes too, but just talk us through hiring, retaining, developing a staff. Do you have a system for it? You can go any way you want. One question, like, what do you look for? What guides you when you're filling your staff or hiring an assistant coach?
Here, the old DeSales tree, which was started with Tony Pusateri, great coach, then Coach Jacoby and his kind of assistants, even through Coach White at Davidson. They constantly surrounded themselves with younger coaches or coaches that played for them. And I always wondered about that. And through the years, when we had brought on older coaches, it became difficult to get them aligned with the way we wanted to do things, right? And I think when you say that, you mean like the way you want to teach, and most important, the way you want to correct. When things go sideways, how are we correcting this? Whatever it is. Maybe we brought in an offensive line coach. Listen, when this guy slants this way, how are we correcting this? What are we doing? Whatever it is, it better all be aligned that way. And so, anyway, going back to this original point, the sales guys, that's why they always brought in younger coaches, because you don't want to reteach somebody. I don't know that all three of you guys would be great coaches, but if we all decided to teach power, I'm going to teach it from that tight end tackle at the very beginning. That's where I'm going to start with it. Kyle, you may teach it from the tailback steps. And no matter what you and I say, we're just going to see it a little bit different. And with that, we're all human beings. If the play doesn't work, it might be because he's that stupid tackle. And I might say, dude, quit worrying about the tailback. Just give him the ball and let's get on this tight end. So it just is harder with older coaches. It would be harder for me to go be an assistant for somebody, right? It would be harder for Chris Sawyer, my right-hand man, been the co-head coach all these years. It would be hard for him to go and work for somebody else because this is the way that it's perfectly aligned. So my point to that is you better make sure your staff has as much alignment as possible, or you can't give them responsibility, right? You have to have people supervising children, but they better be aligned or they can't be responsible for anything. And that's the sad reality of it. Because if it's not, you're in trouble and it's going to be just miserable. My gosh, miserable. How do you fix the problems that occur? I know if we don't score, or if somebody stymies us, I know how Chris is going to fix the problems. I didn't say I know he's going to fix the problems, because you're talking two different things here. But I know how he's going to fix the problems. I know how I'm going to fix the problems. It's going to be fundamental. It's going to be something fundamental. I'm not getting on the blackboard and drawing 45 different X's and O's. It's going to be a personnel, how we get a personnel better, or how we get someone better. So we spent a long time kind of getting to know coaches, making sure they would be a great fit. Listen, we would not have taken the job at Darby if we didn't think we were a fit with the community and the school, the style of play in which they have, the type of kids that they have. Would we mesh with them and would they mesh with us? You have to do a good job with your staff. And I think it's dangerous when you just fill your staff because you need to fill your staff. I'll do another Remember When story, but the great J.D. Graham at Newark Catholic, I heard this said as a young coach. He had either a young staff or staff he didn't know very well. It was something like that. And so what he did is he brought the offensive line in at 8 o'clock in the morning. And this is during summer, then brought the running backs in at 8:30, then brought the receivers and quarterbacks in at 9, and then did team at 9:30. So he coached every position on the field. Now, listen, I don't know that's realistic to do that. I'm not saying that, but I think if the option was that or having somebody coach that was not aligned with what you were doing, you have a better chance to win doing that.
Coach, for you saying that you would say hiring previous staff members or previous guys that played for you and having younger guys, how would you necessarily develop those guys? Like, what's your suggestions on developing young coaches or developing assistants?
You have to coach. You have to go through this process of the spring and firmly establish what it looks like, how we do business, right? Everybody likes to talk about this Darby ball. That is how we do business. That's what it looks like. That's the identity that what we have. And I think that now you have to do the coaching. It goes back to what we said at the beginning. You have to be engaged with the kids all the time. You see how the coaches are engaged with the kids this time of year. These 7-man workouts and 7-on-7s are critical to see how you guys coach and see how we coach and see how we correct. And this is the time, if you don't like it, you get to fix it. You get to do some of those things. I kept a couple members of Coach Santagna's staff, and honestly, I would have kept a couple more if they were willing to stay. These guys were guys that I felt pretty strong would align with us, and I haven't been disappointed. We've obviously put them in situations where they're coaching now, and that's what you want to see. I don't think you can do it on the blackboard, Ryan, and that's one of the things you're asking as well. I don't think you can sit in and tell me how much you know and how you're going to draw up. Listen, if they give us this coverage, we're running this, that, and this. I don't know how quick you're going to be able to do that. How quick are you going to be able to communicate that? How well are the kids going to be able, are you going to be able to line up like this? Are you going to be able to, all those kind of questions, you've got to put them under the fire as quickly as possible. I think you got to scrimmage. I think you got to practice during the summer. I think you got to put the pads on and put them in situations that make them do difficult things. I think you got to run the scout team at the defensive coordinator as fast as you possibly can with as many different looks as you possibly can. Give them as many different problems and see if they can correct them. And if they can't correct them, I don't have a good answer what you're going to do because it's too late in the game to do that. You got to do that as early and often as possible.
Love it. Coach, when you look at assistant coaches that might not live up to your standard, you talk about all being in alignment or making sure you can explain things at a level that the kids are going to understand or a way that's still in alignment with your standards and the program standards. How do you handle that situation where you have an assistant coach or a young coach that's not living up to that standard?
There's two different questions. And sometimes it's not that they're not living up to your standard. I had a coach tell me one time, Coach, we just disagree. I was stunned. I'm the head coach. I can't believe he would say that, but obviously it didn't work, right? It wasn't going to work. These are good people, but it just didn't work. And it's the head coach's fault to put that assistant in a position to give him too much authority, right? That it's the head coach's fault. It's not anybody else. It's not the assistant coach's fault. Young coaches are easy. You just take away responsibility. You don't do it by cutting off their manhood, but little by little, if they're in over their head, you just step in and start to take a little bit more. And I know I've been criticized for one of my rival schools used to call me jokingly Big Brother because I'd be on the sidelines of freshmen and JV games and we try to be doing our thing. But it has to be done the way you think it's best to be done. I notice I didn't say it has to be done the right way. I'm still trying to figure out the right way, but it has to be done the way you think is best. The frustrating one, and I've had this multiple times, like it isn't just one thing. If you have an older veteran coach that feels strong that they disagree with you and they're good people, like these are not bad people, there's no way out. I'd love to tell you there's a way out. There's no way out. What happens when they're teachers in your building too? What are you going to do with them? Yeah. There's no way out. There just is no, and you're just probably in it. There's no way out. So again, in my situation, you can bully them, you can submit to them, but either of those things aren't going to work.
Coach Burchfield, what's one thing you would tell a younger Coach Burchfield back in Centerburg right now? If you could go back in time, looking back, what would you tell him?
I don't know. I'm sure I'd find a new way to make all the same mistakes and do all those kind of things. That's the only way you learn. Obviously, listen, my very first year, we made the playoffs, first time in school history, state coach of the year. You want to talk about knowing everything about football and feeling like you knew everything. That's how you draw it up. And you look back on it and my gosh, we had a kid like make an interception that was totally out of anything we ever taught, and we ended up winning a game by 4 at the end of the game. Like, you got lucky. There's some luck involved in that. But when you're young, you don't realize it. You think you know everything. So I would try to make sure that was always reinforced, that you better always keep learning. You better always understand that make new mistakes. Don't make the old mistakes.
Coach, man, that's awesome. And we're going to wrap this up, but I just want to say thank you. Thanks for being a supporter of us and everything we've been trying to do. And just thank you for everything you do for Central Ohio football, everything you do for us as coaches, and how you stand up for what you think is right and protect our game. And like you said, protect the coaches and protect the players. Really appreciate you taking some time to come on. We wish you a lot of luck. We're excited for you. You're always one of 614 Heads' favorite guys, man. We love having you on here, right? Every time we can, every chance we can. Make sure you guys subscribe to the show. Make sure you leave us a comment, a review, a share it out. That helps spread this message so other people can learn from it. We can keep growing everything that we've got going on and just growing this great game, and all trying to become better coaches at the end of the day. Make sure you check out our sponsors, Fundraising University, Storied Rivals, Max Everett Muscle, First Down Playbook, right? All these different people who we've partnered with, who we feel and we trust, who are great for different avenues that'll make your program better. And we just appreciate everybody hopping on. Everybody have a good night.